Hello, all you beautiful drywallers, dry liners, jib stoppers, and crazy drywall kids from all over the globe, and welcome to a provocative episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have Royce Lennox and Stephen Brown of Three-Way Corners back on the program for their second visit since February 10th, 2023, all the way back to episode 37. That first episode was good. I wanted to find out what they've been up to since their launch of the Three-Way product so long ago. We start out the episode with a bit of technical difficulties, but we quickly launch into a wonderful conversation about how far the Three-Way products have came in the last 3 years and why they're selling in over 100 locations. We talk about the origin of the Three-Way again, like we did in the first episode, and we do a deep dive into the numbers and why Three-Way just makes sense. And in the next month, if you post a video, you too could make some sense.
One of the things Three-Way does, besides make that corner really sharp, because it's kind of an unusual thing, as a selling point of what I'm doing. So often the homeowner is like, "Whoa, I've never seen that before. That is so nice." Like, it gets their attention. So it helps with my professionalism, my uniqueness, like to look more professional, more on top of what's going on to that client. Like, they're always impressed with those Three-Ways when they see them in their, and the effect it has.
Royce and Steve are just as pleasant as they were on the first episode. It was fantastic to catch back up with them. We also discuss the value of attending industry shows, a little bit about the industry shows and how to utilize free marketing. Royce and Steve are amazing, and I know you are going to like this one. Today's episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes in the month of June are brought to you by nobody. What? What are you talking about, Nick? Yeah, we don't have anybody. However, I do have lots to talk about in the world of drywall. CSR opened up another location, which is pretty cool. And I heard a rumor that Brad Kennedy himself is interested in coming on this show. I'd love to have him. So we will find out more about that. Also, I met a gaggle of awesome new people at the Trade and Decorator live show in Bolton, England over the last week. Just an extraordinary group of people, and we happen to have their fearless leader, Paula, on 2 episodes ago, episode 170. She's amazing. Also, I have been working feverishly with a little company called Ames Tools, maybe you've heard of them, to get Fresco Harmony into our very first flagship location in Pompano, Florida. This is going to be happening in July, and we are going to have a training around that event. So stay tuned for more information on that as we get closer. Also, I recently got in the new Bianco No Black Marks custom pool trowels for Fresco Harmony. They are in stock and they are amazing. I've been using mine for the past 6 months and they are seriously unreal. And indeed, they do not leave black marks. They come in 10-inch and 14-inch, and I only ordered 30 of each. So I've sold about half, and these first 60 trowels that I'm selling are signed, and they're available at www.frescoharmony.com. However, if you are in Canada, you can pick up one at Bart's Taping Tools. And if you're in the UK, I left a bunch with our friend Ben Cole at GWI. So we have got you covered. But enough about all that crap. I'm excited to bring you 2 entrepreneurs that have transcended the confines of the drywall world to come out with a product called the Three-Way on this, the 172nd episode of the Drywall Podcast. let's get into it. Also, I can't get any of my Bluetooth to work.
You know, life has its challenges, right?
It works all the time, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, can you turn your phone sideways? I mean, it just does not want to do it. Doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to connect. This is plugged straight in, though. This is working, but not my earbuds. For the life of me. For the life of me. Why?
I got my phone sideways, like it's that way for me.
There it is. There it is. We got it. Go back to where you had it.
This is annoying.
Tell me about it, man. I do 100. This is 172, and all of a sudden, it just won't link up to any of my headphone devices.
Had it once there for a second. Now it's not working. Eh?
It says it's connected.
Leave and rejoin, Nick. Sometimes
what happened to Royce?
Catalyst.
We lost
I don't know.
Royce. Maybe it has to do with being tethered to my phone. I have no clue. Josie's helping him out a little bit this morning. Does it look flat on your end, or do you look sideways? You had it. I'll go note headphone device if that's what it takes.
Yeah, I don't understand. It just doesn't seem to want to do whatever. Let's see.
That's okay, Royce.
Did that do it?
There it is.
There it is.
Oh no, it's okay. There it's back. That's so
Don't mess
funny.
with it. Don't touch it anymore.
Switching back and forth. Yeah, don't touch it. Good fun.
It's the audio is going to pick up like all the other shit that's surrounding. That's the problem. Right to the Bluetooth. I'll keep trying it.
But I can't see you guys. But I guess mine's positioned the right way at least.
Yeah, it's great.
You can't
see me.
You can't see us.
Virtual background, video filter.
Ah, there it is. Got it.
You got the
try a swipe like that.
Yeah, as soon as I do that, then it'll.
Oh no!
I
I wonder why his keeps switching from portrait to landscape. Oh, that's so bizarre.
I can see you guys. Now I'm the right way again, but I can't see you. Right?
You can't see us because you're the right. Are you on your phone? Cool. Is that Josie?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Josie.
Hey.
That's a magic trick.
It must be time. It must be time for another episode of the Drywall Podcast with one of either Royce's children or Royce himself. Because we've got Steve Wessel, Daniel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have another child, correct?
You got a few of them. I got another son, Trevor, that actually is here, and he's working with my brother right now.
Just a little gaggle. Three boys.
5 altogether.
5 altogether. Jesus de Cristo. That's a lot of boys.
Yeah.
It's just
Poor Josie.
Exactly.
You kept trying for that girl and just got boy after boy.
Hey, we got a granddaughter.
We have one granddaughter out of 7 grandkids.
OMG. That's crazy. You got enough for like a indoor soccer team.
Yeah. Daniel's the only one who gave us a daughter.
Attaboy.
You need a few, though, because it's such a crap shot, to make sure you get a good one.
Oh.
Yeah. No shit. You never know. They're like, what is it? Khalil Gibran. They're like, they're little arrows you send out into the world.
I got 5 good ones, but realize that's just a stroke of luck. So.
And Josie.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
You hit the jackpot with Josie.
You're my favorite podcaster, Nick.
Let me skip over to Josie. Do you listen to a couple of the podcasts, Josie?
Sure.
You do?
Of course. Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate that. Yeah, we had a couple good podcasts with Steve and Daniel. Those were great.
Absolutely. For sure. Yeah, no, I do listen on occasion to everybody. It's just I'm always on the go doing something. So I listen as much as I can.
It blows me away Just because I'm hosting, so I don't have a reference for what other people think. It's kind of like when you play music or do anything. I mean, drywall, you can either see it's either good drywall or it looks like shit if you got a good eye. But when it comes to art or podcasting or music or anything like that, you just have to sort of put it out there and trust that people are going to like it. And if they don't, I have no way of knowing. Like maybe I'm wasting my time. I don't know. That's why I always ask each interviewee if they like it, if they listen to the podcast. Steve, you said that you asked AI about the podcast and you got some good feedback.
Was curious how the three-way corner has gotten into more and more stores, so we need people to know it's in those stores. And I thought, well, what podcast could I go on? And yours was number one.
Which isn't saying too much because it's kind of the only podcast in the drywall industry. But
yeah,
we'll pretend like it's a big deal. I don't know. And you know what? A lot of people use this podcast platform. Like you could take this podcast after we get done talking about the three-way, what you guys have been up to. You can plug this into AI and glean marketing tools from this as well. So I think that's why it pops up on AI.
Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed I was trying to find the previous episode and it was really tough to find. And I think you've gotten better at listing who's on, what it's about. Getting it crawled by the robots and so on there.
Recently, I have been, so when I do the show notes or the title that talks about the episode, I will write my little thing, and then I'll take that thing because I'm not the best writer. I put that into AI and I ask AI to give me something good, and it gives me the super pro readout that you read when you look at the episode. So I was doing that. I was actually doing that this morning. I was doing the Pearls of Wisdom, the 5th installment of the Pearls of Wisdom episode this morning, and it's like so much work. I worked from probably 6 to just before we started on I had the entire thing edited for the most part. That was just putting it into Podbean, doing the show stuff, and then setting it to and scheduling the launch. 3 hours.
It's incredible the effect AI is having on everybody, every industry.
Sure.
Strangest technology. I remember first time I ever got a computer. I don't know how many years ago that was, 30 years ago or more. And I remember, getting Windows 95 for dummies and going through the process to figure out what an email was and all that. And I remember sitting there thinking, man, I wish I was going to be alive for when the day I turn on this computer and it says, hey, hi, Royce, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, what do you need?
Here we are beyond that. And it's like, wow, never did I think that would happen in our lifetime back then.
I remember I had a PC. I started a gallery. This was in 08-ish. Of course, like horrible economic time. I have this brilliant idea. I'm doing Fresco Harmony. I'm doing walls. I'm not making any money. And I have this idea because I could make these art pieces, kind of like the one behind me on drywall. I can make the art piece. I can frame it with L metal or J metal. Sorry. And then I can sell these things. I can make them for maybe $5, but I can sell them for I don't have to sell them for a lot. They're all original pieces. I can sell them for $100 a piece or $75 a piece. And I'm just going to sell so many of these things. And so I got a loan for $8,000 and I started a gallery, and I ran Fab Gallery for a year. It was a horrible, horrible failure. It's just the worst idea ever.
Not a bad idea, but the art market is tough, hey?
Well, like I got into like talking to like hotel, like hospitality. I kind of got into it. Like I could have done it if I would have went down that path. But I remember I got a computer and I got this program on it that was horrible and I had no clue how to run it. The credit card companies were like back then they would just steal from you. They would get you all set up and then they just rape you of your money.
That's changed since then, has it?
Slightly. Well, I just started using Stripe, which I find to be hyper efficient, and then we are going to change over to Shopify. So I'm changing from my complicated, stupid website to Shopify, which is going to be streamlined, so much easier. I can download that information or upload it to TikTok, Amazon, like these other types of platforms, and it's going to be greatly beneficial. Much from listening and talking with James Wyhonig of the Morse Sander, and I referred Steve to listen to that episode. It's chock full of good marketing advice, and he's just such a good, probably the best marketer in this industry that I know of.
I think we were in one retail outlet at that time.
It was February 10th, 2023, episode 37, 3 years and 4 months ago. Unreal.
Yeah. You have a good memory, Nick.
Yeah, right off the top of my head, I remember that. No, I started listening to it and I was like, oh, like much like you, I was like, that's not so bad. I'm scared to go back and listen to early episodes, but they're not too bad. And yes, Royce and I had met. We had just gotten Fresco Harmony into CSR. I met you. You were kind of jazzed about Fresco. People were jazzed about Fresco Harmony. You thought it was a great idea. And we were talking about the three-way, and what stuck with me was that Royce is an absolute professional, very good drywall finisher. And this was a tool that you created, a paper corner that fits into the corner, and you can finish your corner without having to pick out that three-way. And you made these corners for yourself because it created efficiency on your job site. And you were so passionate about it that you got with Steve and you guys were like, we're going to make these, we're going to sell them. CSR started carrying them. And let's go back to the start of the story where we left off in 2023 with that original retailer. Was that CSR that was the retailer you're talking about?
Since then, the stories, changed dramatically, like surprisingly. But that's Steve Brown there that's driven that. I've been way more in the background, just doing what I can here and there, but I stay really busy on the sites. And since then, I've been working out in Anguilla and different places like that. But I'm using them on the sites, all the time where I am.
You use these three ways. I mean, the beauty about creating a product is that, especially one you believe in, is that like, oh, well, now I have this like product on hand I can use anytime. I need color. I do Fresco Harmony jobs. I go grab some color packs and some sealer. Like I got ample product all the time. It's great.
Since then, Steve's got us into literally hundreds of outlets.
Hundreds?
Hundreds.
What are we talking?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We're pretty friendly with Columbia Tools, and Elliot said to us, eventually you guys are going to have so many customers, you're not going to be able to remember all the places. And I thought that's a fantasy, but it does seem that way. We want to give attention to every retailer, but home hardware in Canada, there's 1,200 stores here. We're not in every single store, but the hundreds of those we're in. 2 months ago, we went into Menards, 342 stores, and do a best True Value. They have 8,000 stores. I know we're not in every one of those. That's a fairly recent thing. Hundreds and hundreds. True Value, Do It Best bought out True Value, so they both had about 4,000 stores combined, 8,000 stores. Yeah.
Crazy. And so you're in a ton of those.
Yes. We just started rolling out with them, I think, 5 months ago.
How did you acquire that particular contact? And then we'll go into how many different locations you're in.
Sure. Well, bigger box stores, I was pretty worried that we wouldn't be able to keep up pace with them. And it actually isn't too bad. Nothing happens overnight. So you need to build relationships with them. There's a lot of paperwork, way more than I'd ever imagined could be possible. And contracts and so on and so forth. And then we went, Home Hardware was our first big one. And we went and did their show. They used to be partners with Do It Best as a buying group. So I think the vice president of Do It Best was at the Home Hardware show and loved the demonstrations, loved the product, knew it was a fit. It just makes it so easy to bridge the gap between a professional to a contractor to a do-it-yourselfer. Like the three tiers.
You've pivoted your approach a little bit from like the quintessential drywall professional to a more DIY approach, despite the fact that this system could benefit a drywall professional. There's been maybe a little bit more static. As we know, the drywall community can be rigid, trying new things. Have you broken through that barrier, Royce? Has any drywall professionals like reached out to you and adopted this new system where you're just taping out all your flats, your stand-ups, your flats, your corners, and then you got the apprentice going around afterwards putting in these three ways? Has anybody adopted that system?
Yeah, there has been a few, but that's the problem there, is that if you're going to start using a three-way, it is a whole different system. It's not just a matter of, throwing that in, like changing to a different kind of mud. You can switch muds,
right?
Make not much difference, for the most muds you can switch. However, that's another topic too about muds, but
yeah,
whether you're using this guy's 5-inch or that guy's 5-inch, that's not going to change your system. But if you decide to go with three ways as a taper, you're changing a lot of what your approach is and how you do it.
Yeah.
And you got to get to really make good time. Well, I myself, I use them whatever, because I've done it enough that, and I've done it, literally I've been in the industry for 57 years. I can still do a three-way faster with three-way than I can sculpting them out by hand, at least to that quality.
Yeah.
I can do a three-way pretty quick, but not to that quality that you can with the three-way product.
They're perfect. They're perfect corners when you get done.
But even I just can't believe something like that, like how much it's evolved even for me, and learning how to put it in quick and efficiently. Like I used to think that I should put the slit side down on the up and down part of
right.
And that can cause
I got one here.
That can cause it to kind of hockey puck. Since then, I've realized that slit 99% of the time belongs on the ceiling side, which only makes sense because you've got
lift where that corner's not perfect. It's not a perfect 90 degree, right?
And that's in the wall area. Usually, the ceiling to the wall is usually squared up, but it's the wall itself, the two wall sides, that can be off more. So if you're laying it down there first and let it open or close however it's got to be, and then lay down the ceiling, it's fitting every time.
If you're listening, the three-way is, let's go back to and just explain really quick what the three-way is. It's a paper corner that goes in the corner, like as if you're explaining it sort of to a layman, and talk about that slit, because that was an important revelation after your product. That was a refining element that happened after the product was launched.
Should have grabbed one, obviously, but Steve's got one there.
Steve's got one. Steve can be like Vanna White. He's going to be like showing the letters.
Ooh, I have said this a few times. So, and I love the layman speak. So Royce originally came up with this to help out a very rookie person that didn't really have very much knife skills or experience or anything. So it's meant for a do-it-yourselfer, but it can absolutely help pros get a consistent corner every time. So a three-way corner in the industry is where the two walls meet a ceiling. Now, if this was just fixed like that, solid one piece, it's not going to work because a lot of the time the framing is a little bit off this way or that. It naturally happens, especially wood. There's twists and people aren't out there with laser lines making everything. There's always imperfections and things.
Yeah.
So it needs to adjust. I mean, drywall taping and mudding is in many cases an illusion of a butt joint. You're feathering it out to give the illusion of a flat surface. Yeah. We often find that if people are picking up drywall and screwing it and hammering it together, those intersections can get broken up. So we reinforced it so it'll hold its shape. You can tape first into the angles. You have to tape where there's joints or cracks will show up when people are painting and stuff like that. So a piece of tape runs into the corner, but can stop about here. The traditional way is to overlap 3 into the intersection there. And that just turns into a big mess and 2, 3, sometimes 4 sculpt outs and sanding. So this inside is already finished. It doesn't need any mud inside there. Just a little bit of feathering here. This slit blends into the tape so it doesn't round out. And the adjustable part that we were talking about is to handle that framing. We can go twist it around to where the most out of square is happening. And as Royce said, it's usually going to the ceiling. It's where
how do you determine, Royce, how do you determine where the slit goes when you're putting those into the corner?
I always automatically put it to the ceiling.
You just put it to the ceiling now.
Yeah, 99% of the time, that's what you want. The odd time, the ceiling's out more than the wall, and you can tell as you go to wipe it in, so you just change it to the up and down. Okay, let's talk about, because it's kind of a fun story. You're sitting on your couch. Josie's there. She makes you this wonderful dinner. The boys are running around. They're getting into trouble. And you're sitting there and you're thinking about drywall. And you come up with this idea, because maybe you got a new guy and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to have that guy do tomorrow. Maybe we'll like put him on 3-ways. He's not going to be able to pick out those 3-ways. I'm going to come up with this crazy ass square paper corner that like folds and gets into the corner. How do you make your first one? Well, I got a paper cutter. Okay. I was chopping them up, squared up, and just folding them and using a spoon to make the creases. And it wasn't 2 layers. It was just 1 layer. Yeah. I wasn't making... Wait, what kind of paper, though? What did you didn't have the right paper? No, I was making a mistake. It took us quite a while to get the right paper. I started out using watercolor paper, thinking, no, obviously that must be the best type because they just. But no bonding quality with that watercolor paper, right? It also ripples, but because originally I made the 3-way not to be a right out 3-way, but to help be a guide for when they threw the tapes to wipe your tapes in, because that helped. Because like you go to do out a 3-way and it's easy to push it in behind, if you got a gap and your tapes aren't necessarily right tight, so that could make it up a bit. So I just had them thrown in first, and then it was a guideline to doing out your 3-way to speed it up for the journeyman. So I just had the kid running around trying to put those in, trying to figure out some way to make who was this? Who was this kid? Well, I don't want to name him because he's fired. It was a nephew. It was a nephew. It was a nephew of mine, but he just Yeah, he was just
He
a
was
difficult
smart.
guy.
He was like, I'm not gonna go in the drywall. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna learn how to do something. Like, I'm getting out of this. This is horrible.
Yeah, well, he wasn't doing that so great. So anyhow, I tried to make that work for him. But then, of course, it just kept evolving, and it seemed to work pretty good just to be using it as a guide system for the journeyman, because even journeymen go in there, and I don't know how many have taken the time to do a stopwatch and find out how long all those are taking them,
Yeah.
but it's usually longer than what you think. I found when I was stopwatching it when I was first doing all this endless subdivision houses, they were boxes, pretty straight go stuff. But I used to count up my three ways just to price out a job. Your three ways are your work in most square box houses. I mean, these days they got a lot of other variations that take up your time more too. But in a box house, count your three ways, you'll know how long you're in there if you're timing it out.
Huh.
So I thought about that for years. Well, you think about it. You walk in a room
Yeah.
and running boxes. What does that take you? 2 minutes to run the whole room in boxes, if that?
Yeah.
Pulling your angles, that takes a minute. You got 8 three ways in that place. That's your work in a room. The rest, one stick of bead.
Well, everybody knows that finishing butts and bands by hand is faster than using the box tool, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm joking. That was one for Columbia. That was a little jab at our lovely tool manufacturers that come on the show, and we still talk about people that are hand finishing, but that's also an illustration of the rigidity to change that we have in this industry. Like, you talk nonchalantly about going through and boxing out a room, but a lot of people still finish by hand. It's crazy.
They do. And you know what? I tell you, I found from 100 years experience of this stuff. Yes, so many times I hear tapers get into discussion about what's the best method, blah blah blah. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
There's who's the best at how I've seen guys doing hand jobs faster than anybody can do it on a box. So no pun intended there, but
True. Yeah, you get somebody that hand finishes versus a box, somebody that's a novice at the box. They're going to struggle with it. I've noticed Gilbert girls, they're still using the slot box despite having been given bazookas to use, which is no shame. And we talk a lot about the slot box too, and how I've never used it, but it looks kind of fast. It's messy, but it looks fast. And I could definitely tell, like, if you were proficient at the slot box, that bazooka is going to look awful daunting. I don't want to learn that because I do it this way and it's really fast, and I'm not dealing with a broken tool all the time.
yeah, there is a lot of maintenance to those things. But three-way even helps somebody running a bazooka, because does take time to learn how to cut those tapes to perfection in your corners. Usually they just end up leaving gaps and then they're cracked,
Right.
too
I
much
used to
down
cut within a 1/16 of an inch in each corner.
there. Cool. Yeah, good for you. So that takes skill to pop.
That was my claim to fame.
Yes. And see, that's the other thing too. How many guys are proud of those three ways? So that's hard for them to have their apprentice thrown in one that looks better than they can do.
It seems like it would just immediately just speed up that need to be accurate in those corners. I wouldn't have to think about it. It'd become a no-brainer. My tails would get real gappy over time.
Yeah, as you know, you got 5 inches of play with the three-way
Okay.
for your. So obviously, it's going to be much faster to get that bazooka rolling.
Right.
But
that's 10 inches on either side. And
that's a lot of room.
yep.
Yeah. So that's a faster move. And it is for almost anybody, unless you've been running that bazooka for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back over to Steve. I keep thinking about these locations, man. So now you've got the three-way. You come on the Drywall Podcast. Obviously, you guys exploded after that because of the Drywall Podcast. It just went viral. How did you go from like CSR to, because they were selling on Amazon.ca, but how did you go from there to these, hundreds of locations? What would you say the turning point was around that?
That's a great question. I mean, the product works. Okay. There's so many products out there that don't work. They could be gimmicky and so on and so forth. And we really tried to focus on pro tapers. There's some pushback, and that's fine. I mean, the 3 tapes overlapped, sculpting it out. Take pride in your craftsmanship and your work. I understand everything about that. If you want to make more, you have less skill, use 3-ways. That's pretty simple. But we think tapers is our market, so we're going after that. And there's a few very niche specialty stores in all of North America, and those people are good. And then we realize, okay, maybe there's 20,000, 200,000 tapers. How many general contractors are there? Painting contractors? Well, it's 10 times more. And how many people own a home and want to do a renovation, a new paint job?
To me, though, that
100 times more, right?
A novice is going to have enough corners to warrant buying a package of 3-ways. But I guess they do. These novice finishers, they'll take on a large enough project that they have a bunch of 3-ways to do, and it just makes sense to buy a package or 5 packages of 3-ways.
Absolutely. Royce and I did a show maybe 2 years ago, and there was some union apprentices coming through. They're learning the trade, so they're not completely inept. They've done it. They've put their hands on material and mud, and I don't remember his name. It doesn't matter. I would want to throw him under the bus. He was just so bluntly honest. He said, yeah, the 3-way corner is taking the longest to learn how to do. They still are very difficult, not coming out looking good, and they take me 30 minutes a corner. So, of course, you're going to improve over time. But if there's, a hack or a shortcut in consistency, like the big thing that I've come to realize, we've been talking about putting it in. There's these advantages of some speed up on the job, less precision with the tapes and so on. But margins and competitiveness is really heavy right now. So anything to give you an advantage and not cost you when you're done your job. Wood twists. You've got from California to British Columbia, all along that coastline, they have heaps of earthquakes. This isn't structurally going to hold up your whole house, but it won't crack. It's one piece. It doesn't have a heap of mud on it. It's infallible. If installed correctly, it's not going to crack. And every tradesperson knows if you have a deficiency, you're trying to do another job, you have a callback, you got to pack up, you got to prep out their place, and it could be ripping down things, and you don't want callbacks. So at least get that out of your hair, because a callback could, if it's a free thing, it's costing you a lot, eroding your margin massively. So, it's helping a lot of people, especially in those earthquake areas where it should be a spec thing.
Interesting. Let's talk numbers.
Mm-hmm.
How many 3-ways go into a package of 3-ways? What are your products? Do you have 2 different sizes?
3, 5-pack, 10-pack, and 25-pack.
Okay.
But if we're into a multifamily renovation, let's say, where they don't want to put all new drywall, but they want to, give a real nice refinish. So they're going to scrape out some mess up there, put it in the 3-way, like pre-painting. You're going to fix some little nail holes and stuff like that. Put the 3-way corners in. It's like a brand new room, perfectly squared out.
Let's talk about
mm-hmm.
like a 2,000 square foot house.
Mm-hmm.
on the base, new construction. You're talking to me now. I'm learning. So
Yep.
25 pack. That's going to be my best value. How many corners am I looking at in like a 2,000 to 2,500 square foot house? Royce, like on average?
50 to 63 ways you're going to have in that size of a house.
50 to 60. Okay, I'm going to need 2-pack. I'm going to need 2 packages at least.
Mhm.
How much per 25 pack? What's the cost?
I think you're at about 150 on that, Nick.
150?
I think so.
Okay. Now,
I'd have to check some retail prices. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll say 125 to 150 retail. And also I believe you can get these through CSR website. They carry them. I know Brad's a big proponent of the 3-way. So $150 I'm going to be invested in a house. How long? Now you've crunched these numbers. How much time are we talking per 3-way for and I don't want the 30-minute version. I want how much time are you saying the average drywaller takes on a 3-way? Go.
I would say the guy who said 30 minutes, he's probably talking symbolically kind of.
He's already fired.
He's a rookie. He's out.
That guy doesn't work in drywall anymore.
Before we get started. So I would say the average guy is easily anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes anyhow per 3-way.
Totally agree.
5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so we'll say 7 minutes. So that's 7 minutes times 1. We'll say 125. What's that, Steve?
Go with I like it a little easier numbers. I know we landed on 75 3-ways. Let's go with 100 3-ways.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes it easier.
Yeah. And, well, if it's 100 3-ways, that's 7 minutes per. Yeah.
700 minutes.
700 minutes.
Divided by 6.
And,
well, you're at least 10 hours. No? Is that right? 700 divided by 60, 10 hours plus.
After about 5 3-way corners, even if you've never touched it before, we have lots of instructional videos.
Okay.
At the most, you're at 2 minutes. But
this is
you get good at it, you're a minute.
This is how my brain works. Okay, so my investment on a 2,000 square foot project, let's say I'm a production drywall finisher. Obviously, the caveat is that I don't have to have my journeyman guy do it. I can have my rookie dude go around and do these three ways. And we're going to save maybe 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours, and it's going to cost us $150. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That is the value. That's the value add that 3-way brings to a project. In that scenario,
they're going to dry faster than 3 tapes, overlapped, mud buildup, etc. That's the hardest place to get airflow into. So that's going to speed up your job. The precision, the lower skilled people, that again, it's that consistency and the guarantee it's not going to crack. That's a longer term, more value. Well, it just compounds.
Too, those 3-ways require 2 passes. Now, so if they're glazing out the corner, the inside corner, you still have to pick out those corners, right? As well. But, the 3-way's already in there. I got to glaze that to second coat my inside corners. Does it save on that second coat a skim out application? Royce, what do you think?
When you throw in if you tape your place first, throw in your 3-way, that edge there that Steve's showing you, that's all you're touching. You're skimming that edge. So from install to sanded, ready for paint, it takes me under 2 minutes to do that 3-way.
I'm talking about like the throttle box or that second coat on the inside angles.
Your 3-way. You stop at the edge.
Okay.
So you don't need to get a bunch of mud inside that 3-way.
Okay.
You're better not. If you do, scrape it out quick. while it's
Okay.
still wet.
And this goes back to the systems conversation that we were talking. You might have to shift your system a little bit with the three-way, but ultimately you're going to have less picking on the second coat as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they skim out so quick because that edge is just, it's not like when you're coating them up by hand. Yeah, you got to shape that every time you're in there. But on the three-way, no, you don't. You just run that edge in and flash that edge in twice. It's good.
Okay. And if you're listening out there, this is an episode that you might want to check out on YouTube because Steve has a three-way, and he's sort of, as we're discussing the three-way, he's sort of showing pictures of a physical three-way, so you can sort of get an idea what we're talking about. They're pretty cool. What's your origami background, Royce?
It's three-way.
I majored in origami.
5 years in a Japanese temple.
Uh-huh. And can I get a three-way that's shaped like a swan? Let's go back
And
to
it jumps around.
Steve. Let's go back to I like jumping back to the marketing conversation. So you had a critical threshold experience happen. I jumped back over to the three-way. Talk about that. You have one location. All of a sudden, you
Yes.
critical threshold. You went to a industry show. I was going to say that, like, how valuable those industry shows are. I'm obviously haven't been taking as big a advantage of those as I should. They are expensive. Is it hard to spend that money? And you don't have to talk about this too much, but your ROI on these trade shows seem to be pretty good. Like for me, it's like, God, I'm doing the show in England next week. I'm already like $3,000 in, and I'm splitting the damn booth. It's so hard for me to quantify where I could do like a crazy like TikTok advertisement for free. And then also this gets into influencers. So like, let's like sort of talk about the marketing a bit.
Nick, I love that question. Like, we met each other for the first time at, I know you had to make your way up to CSR in just outside of Toronto, but they gave us booths for free.
Yeah.
As a manufacturer, as a material supplier, and they're the only show that I know of that does that.
Yeah, shout out to CSR also for promoting fledgling products like the three-way and Fresco Harmony and other products that they give chances to where maybe other retailers are more rigid.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about them a lot, like not only to both of us and multitudes of other products, and giving people that are new to the trades or have been around for a long time access to all the tools that they need to bring up their game. What you can get at some local hardware stores doesn't cut it to be a production drywall finisher or plaster or Fresco. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's their support to the overall industry and supporting people. I can't imagine how many families they've affected and businesses. So, and they've always been just so stand up, supportive, and as a bit of a mentor to get into these other retailers.
Yeah.
You can't they were the first store. They taught me a lot of, I didn't even know I needed a packing slip, for example, with the product. Like it's not what I've done professionally. I've done lots of things, but anyways, their shows are fantastic. It feels like friends and family, and they don't charge anything. So the people that you meet there, it's all up to us to build that relationship of are you interested in the product? Get it here. But can you refer anybody else who might be interested? And that's how you just build the momentum. If the product works and people like you, the word will spread, and it'll just reach more people.
Well, and real quick before we get back to the ROI on investment with trade shows, They have a show coming up, and you guys are going to be attending their new location launch. And where's that? And tell me about a little bit about that real quick.
Sure. It's Clarington. I live in Peterborough, Ontario, pretty much, and Royce lives in Pickering. Clarington is right between for both of us.
Perfect.
I just spoke to Brad and Vince this morning. Maybe you'll bump into him, Nick. He's in Ireland right now.
Oh,
Wants to come on the show. And
is that Brad? But we're gonna get Brad on the
yes.
show? Oh, okay. Sure.
He asked for an invite.
I won't hold my breath.
Yeah. No, he told me this morning I want to go on the show. So
he did?
Yeah, he's pumped up.
Careful what you wish for, Brad. I'll call your ass up right now. We'll get it going, dude.
I think you're gonna bump it anyway. So there's 20 vendors. They provide the table. They usually provide some walls to demonstrate tools and products and stuff. Like no other show does that. I mean, you and I, Nick, we met each other at another show. I think it was IBS or All Wall. We don't need to say it was pretty expensive to do though. Nice to be there, but different feeling.
WCI.
Back to the ROI, I was pretty inexperienced on who do I need to talk to? What is our messaging? Maybe I'll try that show again, but it didn't seem to be the right market for who I need to talk to. IBS would probably be good. But yeah, back to the, there's tapers, there's contractors, and do-it-yourselfers. So we want to reach as many people as possible.
Home hardware, though. What show is that?
That is only for people that have or companies that have their products in their warehouse.
Right.
So that is
Royce, were you at that show?
The home hardware one? No.
Do you go to the shows sometimes?
If I can.
Are you going to be at the CSR Clarington show?
I plan to be at the CSR one, yes.
If you didn't go to the Clarington show, you missed Royce. There, that's better. We'll cut to that. We'll just cut to that. No, it's hard when you drop a show. Yeah, because I'll be out of town next weekend, and then next week I won't be able to edit. That's the problem. If I had somebody to edit, then I could probably do more volume. These guys, these like popular guys that do podcasts, they have whole production teams. All they have to do is sit down and do the dialogue with. Not that that's any small feat, but it's like all of the post-production work that I do that's just insane that they don't have to do. Joe Rogan can get handed off. But in their defense, they probably produced a lot of the early shows themselves. It's hard to tell. It's really challenging to produce. I've talked with other podcasters that have little teams. They have like a 2-person team or a 3-person team. What I do is pretty unique, but again, guerrilla marketing, saving money. You would recommend these shows, though. The ROI on that show obviously paid in dividends because you got into some very strategic retailers because of the money that you invested.
I always have trepidation about it, but you meet 100 or 1,000 people at these shows. It could be that one person that just catapults the whole thing. So you kind of got to evaluate each one. And so many companies, they do a show, they put a bunch of money into it, a bunch of planning, months and months, maybe even a year into it. They go and do the show, and then they don't follow up. They don't build on those relationships. So they've just wasted all that time and money. So anybody getting into this, anybody doing shows, take some notes, stand out, and follow up. Simple formula.
Very cool. And you're in, we didn't say exactly, but you guys are in several hundred locations now. That's exciting. Do you double down on locations that are doing better versus locations that aren't? And how are you helping the retailer sell your product? What do you do?
We definitely put out social media content. We have a fair amount of followers. Any user, we have a contest going on right now. Actually, every quarter, anybody that makes a video or takes some pictures, they've used a three-way. It helped them get their job done faster. It sharpened up a broken out corner on just a repaint. Sure. Anything they want. Make a post, tag us, and we're giving away a prize. $333. Okay. So every quarter we're going to do that.
Everybody that posts, you give $333?
No, that would be crazy. Thank you. Good point. Clear that.
You will pick one person per month.
One winner.
I like that.
I think we're going to start with every 4 months or every 3 months, I think is what it is. I'd like to do it every month. That'd be great.
Do it every month. $300 is a small price to pay for people. And the first couple of months, man, you'll have like 1 or 2 people. Those odds are good, right? How many entries do you have for this monetary giveaway?
We just started it last week, and I think we're at maybe 3 entries. This is a bit of an announcement for it. We put some slips inside some packages so people could scan the QR code and get to the three-way contest page. Mm-hmm.
Those people that are promoting the three-way and using it, those are diamonds in the rough. Like, I get people promoting Fresco Harmony and they don't get shit. Like, I definitely need to be running a deal where it's like, hey man, you post the latest video of your Fresco Harmony job, 1 entry per person, and we'll send you a free trowel or $100 or whatever. Because I get several people per month, and there's almost zero incentive besides Fresco Harmony is fun, cool content. That's good. But it's not, there should be more. There definitely should be more.
It's, they're putting in their effort. They might be making money off the product, and so that's great. But, it takes time to film things, to edit, to post, and interact with people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like that.
So we have that.
That's really great.
Yeah. And training, like I go to stores, I'll do demos of the product, interact with the end users in the store. If it's already stocked in there, what can I teach the staff about it? Can I send the staff videos? I don't want to go too far about it into how we handle that kind of thing, but if somebody comes into a hardware store and they don't know where to find the stuff, whatever it is they're looking for, they're going to ask some of the staff.
Yeah.
And the staff is going to hold their hand and take them to the paintbrush and take them to the tape. And if you're doing that, try the three-way corner.
This is a big
because
one.
It does it.
This is a big one. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is where the retailer, it's like where it's the synergy, because I'm quick to be like, dude, the retailer's not doing their job. They're not selling the product. And the retailer's like, dude, the Fresco Harmony stuff's just sitting on the shelf. It's not doing anything. And in both instances, it's like, well, what are you doing to sell the product? Now, in Albuquerque, we just got into New Mexico Plaster Supply. They were jazzed about carrying Fresco. We immediately had a training. They let me do a wall in their space. They bought the large kiosk, which is smart because they have a selection of all of the colors. But most importantly is Mitch, the sales guy there. It believes in the product and he's selling the shit. And I'll go in there and people are like, oh, you owe him a commission because he's selling your product. And it's like, that should be consistent with each retailer. They should know your product so well that when somebody comes in and is like, what's this Fresco Harmony stuff? They should be able to sell that immediately without even thinking about it. Oh, you're doing a plaster project. Check this stuff out. Oh, you're doing a new home renovation. And have you checked out the three-way? Do you even know how this works? It's up to me to educate Mitch. Like I go in there and I have long-winded conversations with Mitch, and I give him a commemorative trowel and I give him a hat, and I make sure that my relationship with him is super solid.
Yeah, you got to educate them, and sometimes there's 10 staff. One of them is really going to, like, it should be a bit of a corporate culture that they care about their customer. If you help that customer get their job done better, faster, they're going to come back. If they think something's daunting to do, and you've given them the education to help that person get through it easily, they're probably going to keep renovating their house, or that contractor is going to get more jobs. And
why would that retailer give a shit? And it's like, well, because they are providing intel about the industry that we are in. Maybe you're not selling $100,000 a week versus of Fresco Harmony versus mud, your commodity items, drywall, but that they're going to come back to your store because you carry three ways, because you carry colored joint compound system that looks like plaster. Super cool. They might come there just because you guys carry the three-way, and they might start picking up mud there because of it. And I think that's where CSR has been really intelligent in developing relationships with the vendors the way they do. Royce, so in your opinion, how has the three-way evolved as you use it today, and where do you see it going?
Well, I mean, the three-way itself has evolved just in the quality of the papers and stuff, got better and stuff. But, I do a lot of repaint work too.
Okay.
And I find, and stucco removal and that kind of stuff. And I find I have yet to go into a home where I'm doing a repaint or whatever, and they have good three-ways. Three-ways are not that good almost anywhere I go. So I just knock out whatever chunks are in there and throw in the three-way. And one of the things three-way does, besides make that corner really sharp, because it's kind of an unusual thing, as a selling point of what I'm doing, so often the homeowner is like, whoa, I've never seen that before. That is so nice. Like, it gets their attention. So it helps with my professionalism, my uniqueness, like to look more professional, more on top of what's going on to that client. Like, they're always impressed with those three-ways when they see them in their, and the effect it has.
Yeah.
And they're much nicer to cut in too. Like, when you're cutting in, you want that laser line and get to your three-way, and it's like, try to make a nice laser line around.
Why do those corners in those repaints? Why is that like a hot spot for damage or whatever?
Well, because they already look like crap. Like, I have an advantage of going into a repaint because I'm a professional painter, as well as finisher. I can do all these different wall finishes, like working with your stuff or Venetian plaster or any of this stuff. So, and I've been painting. I mean, I got my ticket in painting before I even started taping.
Okay.
I was a professional painter. So when I started taping, that sure helped me understand all the things I was dealing with as a painter on those walls, like why there was all these fisheyes in the work and everything, So I knew what I didn't want as a taper because of being a painter. So now when I go into a house, you can imagine as a taper, like every house, your bead is sucked in, there's joints showing, things look like, they don't look good. So I can so quickly straighten it all out, throw in three-ways, and then I even sand out their walls with the Fez tool. So I get all that heavy nap taken out of their walls. So I can very quickly make that home look better than it did when it was originally done. And those three-ways really add to that quality of look, because you go in, especially if you have had stucco ceilings before, you're going to have really crappy looking three-ways and edges.
Right.
So I pay special attention to the edges and those three-ways. So I just throw in those three-ways, man, what a difference in and it's so much faster. It's faster almost in repaints to use that three-way than it is for me in new drywall. Because to try to fix crappy old painted corner with mud, yeah, just throw the three-way in there, it's done.
Do you see yourself going over maybe more to the corporate, working with Steve on the three-way marketing side than drywall? Do you see yourself in the future maybe segueing away from drywall and focusing more on the three-way?
Well, it could be, I could end up doing more stuff with Steve and going and helping to demonstrate and that kind of stuff. Steve doesn't really like this phrase, but he's the Martha Stewart of three-way, you know. He'd rather be the Snoop Dogg, but
less attractive. He's less attractive, but yeah.
I don't want everybody to know I wear dresses. That's between us.
I'm joking. Steve is a very attractive man.
Martha
You got to go. You got to go on the YouTube channel to see for yourself. But or Vanna White too. You had a very Vanna White when you're holding a three-way.
Thank you.
A supportive role.
I'm better working or with guys on the job, that kind of stuff. You know, I fit in much better there.
You like work. You like working on the job.
Well, you know, that's where I've been my whole life.
Yeah.
Steve's always been a business guy. Steve's the guy, you know, who originally took that when he originally saw the three-way, because he was working with me doing administration for me. And he said, like, how come I don't see anybody else using this three-way? I says, well, because that's my trade secret.
My baby.
Speeds it up. Makes my thing look. I keep that for myself. And he says, there's no secrets left. The money's not in keeping your secret. The money is in sharing your secret.
Right.
We're gonna sell this thing. At first, I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do that."
Right.
But he was like, "You're nuts. This is not. You're not gonna make anything off keeping your secret. You know, that's old school thinking. Get this out there." So he's the one who had that kind of vision of it and took it and started talking to people about it and getting it.
And then
getting it going.
And then, like the mafia, Steve has gotten sucked into the working aspect of drywall finishing, right? You've been learning about the trade a little bit, or a lot recently.
A lot.
Just throwing your hat in the ring and learning more. Now, has that helped you sell the three-way and become more proficient at being more proficient at drywall? Has that helped you?
Well, the rubber hits the road, right? To just talk about products, yeah, you can get somewhere. But like, I walk the walk. I go into job sites. I can do all the job. There's so much to focus on the business. But somebody said, "Hey, can you help me do this spiral curved staircase in plaster?" And let's go. Yeah. It's like a big sculpture. It's fantastic. Yeah, you gotta. I still love to do the mud. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And most people say I hate it, but it's great. I want to do it every day.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I know some of the experience Steve's had when he goes in and he's dealing with the white collars, you know, talking to them about the product. When they see him grab a pan and use a knife and stuff, well, you know, they're all super impressed. Like, oh, geez, you know, he's a nerd that can do what what they can't.
Yeah.
So he can't, you know, he's a total professional, you know, white collar kind of guy. You don't run into too many of them that can actually, you know, trowel a piece of bead or level a flat or.
It's especially true, I think, in drywall. I wouldn't be able to do the drywall podcast if I didn't understand the process of drywall finishing as thoroughly as I do. It's super necessary, I think, to sell product in this space as well. Like knowing your shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when Steve can talk to those people and then go in and show their guys how to actually throw a three-way quickly and stuff, I know that's always another level of you know, it's a selling feature. Someone who actually can do what they do, you know, work with their own product.
Absolutely. Pearl of wisdom, Steve, go.
Yeah, the three-way corner, it just makes people's lives easier. And we're just trying to help people. If you're a pro and you really don't like it for some reason, that's fine. Do your own thing. But, somebody that might have lost their job through AI or some other thing, you can pick up a pack of these, go do a quick renovation, make money that day. Interior finishing isn't going to go away.
What about just life lessons? Something that you could tell society to help better this community that you live in without borders? No pressure.
Never give up on what you want to do. Never give up on what you want. Doesn't matter how many people are hating on you or telling you to stop. Just persevere. If it makes you feel good and you're doing the right thing that you believe, keep after it.
Love it. Royce, what do you got?
How much time do you have?
Much time as you need, buddy. You got the floor. You got one shot.
Yeah, outside of the world of drywall and all that, there's two things. One thing I would say concerning the trades, if you're the type of person, and if you're hearing someone say, I've been doing this for 20 years, you hear that phrase, there's a good chance that what they've been doing for 20 years is repeating a 6-month apprenticeship, and they're not much better. Somebody who says, I'm learning every day. I have an open mind. What can you show me? I don't care what it is. Have an open mind and see if there's anything there to understand or learn. A new trowel, a new knife, a new method, a new type of bead, whatever. Yeah. But as soon as you're locked into, I've been doing this for 20 years, you're kind of into your own religion, and you're stuck. And as far as life lessons outside of all that, I would say a deep thing to realize is there's only actually one thing you ever see in the world, one single thing. You don't see anything else, and that is your own reflection. There is nothing else to see. You look at a tree and feel about a tree different than I do. You have a preference of a tree different than I do. It affects you emotionally different than it affects me. Everything out there is something reflecting back to you. So if you're having all these struggles and you're having these problems and in different areas of your life, there's only one place you can go to find out what that is, and that's inside. Like, I know a number of Native people, and they talk about the 7 directions: north, south, east, west, up, down, in. In is a direction. And if you're not taking what you're seeing out there and going in to understand why, your world will always be external. Everybody thinks or seems to react as though the reactions they're having to their environment is coming from the environment. It's not. It's coming from you and you alone. So, I've did this many, many, many times. See something that just annoys the hell out of me. Like a too passive of a driver or somebody who, I just gotta be careful what I say because I'm not out to offend anybody or any fashion. Sure. But certain things drive you, like, what the hell is that? Yeah. So when I look down and think about and travel inward, go inward, like a journey, like you jump in your canoe and journey in on those feelings. Where are those feelings going to take you? They'll take you to some place within yourself, and you find out what that's reflecting about you as to why that annoys you or why that scares you or why you dislike that or whatever. And when you realize that, you can overcome it. Like, so many people are trying to remove what annoys them in their life. Get rid of this, get rid of that. But once I get rid of that, I'll be fine, and so on. You actually don't want to do that. You don't want to get rid of any of that stuff. You want that stuff to be there until you find peace inside enough that it doesn't even bother you. Don't move the thing, move yourself.
It's so true. Well, and in my experience, like, I always try to, it makes me think of blocking, like when you block somebody on social media. Yeah. you're not really blocking the person, especially if I'm carrying this like weight of the relationship. It's still there.
Yeah.
Like, better maybe just hide them for the time being, and then have maybe a open conversation about what's bothering you or something, and move through it. That's what it makes me think of.
Go inside and you'll find out what it is that they're reflecting about yourself that you don't like.
Right.
The negative feedbacks you get, and from professionals, you get a lot of them.
Yeah.
Professional talkers, they really like to beak off about what they might or might not like.
Yeah.
I find those are my favorite things to respond to.
Love it.
Is those kind of feedbacks, because that's just nothing but opportunity to explain something for everybody else, to point something else about it, for everybody else. Like, those are your best opportunities.
Beautiful. Steve, real quick, somebody wants to buy a three-way. They want to find out about the three-way. They want to look at pictures of the three-way. Where are they going to go for all of that?
Very short and simple. The number 3, WAY.ca, threeway.ca. Once they get there, they can pretty much find everything else: Instagram, YouTube, how-tos, retailers, and so on.
You have a really great YouTube presence. Would you say that's probably the best if they want to find out about or see a video on the three-way?
I think our Instagram is a bit more fun, but I mean, YouTube is great because it's searchable. If you want to write in contractor, make more money with three-way or something like that, that's going to pop up a video of ours. Three-way instructions. It's more searchable, YouTube, for sure.
Well, and if you're listening, it may be worth it to you to get yourself a package of three-ways and throw some up, try it out, make a video, because you might win $300.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
But you'd probably have
I keep trying to forget that.
You would probably have to go and like their Instagram page. And you should anyways, if you haven't already. They got great content. Royce Lennox, Steve Brown, thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. This has been awesome.
Well, thanks for having us, Nick. It's been great.
I know.
Talking to you.
Yeah, I know you're both busy. You got projects and things like that, but I really appreciate your time coming on the show today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, Nick.
Great.
Appreciate you too. Thanks for having us back. We'll do it again soon.
All right, you guys have a good day. Bye. Huge shout out to Royce and Steve for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I am so stinking proud of you guys for what you have achieved, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with in the next 3 years, and I look forward to seeing you guys both again very soon. Also, we don't have any sponsors this month, mostly due to all the travel that I've been doing, but be on the lookout for 2 new badass sponsors in the month of July and August. Lots of cool stuff happening, including, but not limited to, a possible Fresco Harmony training at our very first Ames location in Pompano Beach, Florida, happening around the middle of July. We'll have more information coming up on that. Also, if you haven't heard, Fresco Harmony has received the first order of their original Bianco trowels designed by owner Nick Harmon, me, and available for purchase at www.frescoharmony.com. We've sold about half, and the first 60 are signed, which is pretty cool, and I think you are going to like them. I've been using mine for about 6 months, and I love it, and they indeed do not leave black marks with the lighter colors. Thank you so much for joining me and Royce and Steve on the Drywall Podcast today. It is because of listeners like you that I continue to bring original and informative content. So I just want to say Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic week or weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.